everyone. Hi. Um, Thanks for checking out another video here on Single and Placing. We're at the Lovell Gulch Trail, as you can see, part of the Pike National Forest. And we're just outside of Woodland Park, Colorado. Come on, buddy. Let's go. Just outside of Woodland Park, Colorado. We've been on this trail, I think this is now the third time that I've brought you up here, but it's been quite some time since we've been up here. I think it's been about a year since we've made our way up to this trail. And it's a nice 5-6 mile loop, I believe. Let's turn on our workout. Do they have hiking? I forget. Yes. Usually just set it to walk, but this is an actual hike. Come on, let's go, big boy. So yeah, I hope you're having an excellent day, weekday, weekend, week, month, evening, morning, overnight, all of that good stuff. Let's go. Oh boy. There is quite a bit of little slick, icy spots here this early in the season. So it might be a little slow going through certain areas, but for the most part, shouldn't be too bad. Let's just get up this hill. Let's go. Let's go. Up the hill. Good boy. So yeah, I just felt like getting outside of the house and doing something a little bit farther away. This is about an 1.5-hour drive from the house. So a little bit of a haul today, but we made it. We made it up here in one piece, and it's a nice, beautiful day. It's in the 50s, 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And so I don't have to bundle up, which is nice. And there are like 0 clouds in the sky. It's completely clear skies. So the sun's doing a lot of work for us today, which means we had to sunscreen up. And I was getting ready today to head out, and I have some water for Apollo and treats and some food, and I got him off of Amazon. I ordered some dog sunscreen because from what I was reading, dogs can get skin issues and stuff. He didn't wear sunscreen last year, but dogs can get, sun exposure just like anyone else, just like humans do. And their fur takes care of a lot of it, but where they have thinner fur, especially on their snoot, they can get sunburn on their nose. So I was like, okay, I'll get him, I was just reading on recommended types. So I found a canine sunscreen company and got Apollo some sunscreen. So I just put a little bit on his nose today, a little bit on his back and his bum. Oh, potty break, hold on. Okay, sorry, I just had to pick that up. So yeah, I put a little sunscreen on his nose and on his bum, just a little bit on his back, and then on his little paws. So I was worried that he was going to want to lick it or scratch at it, and it's a spray sunscreen, but obviously I didn't want to spray it directly on his nose because I don't want it getting in his eyes or in his nose or him inhaling it. So I just sprayed it on my hand and rubbed it on him. So hopefully that helps him with the sun exposure, because we're in Colorado, we're high up, and sun exposure is definitely a thing. But anyway, so I had prepped all of his dog stuff and got him all squared away, and then I left the house. I'm like headed up here. Like, I didn't even bring my own little skincare bag. Like, I don't have my sunscreen or anything, so we had to stop at Walgreens on the way up here and got myself some sunscreen. It feels nice. It's a banana boat, just like basic SPF 50 plus, whatever, blah, blah, blah. spectrum sunscreen. So I've got that in my pocket. I was reading the ingredients on the dog sunscreen, and it looks exactly like regular sunscreen. So I'm like, why did I buy dog specific sunscreen? The ingredients are like identical to regular sunscreen. So once he's done with his bottle, then I'll probably just start using regular human sunscreen, because honestly it looked exactly the same. If anything, it said not for human use. And I'm like, I don't know why. I mean, it's literally the same formula as other spray sunscreens I've seen. So I don't know why I couldn't use his and he couldn't use mine, but regardless. So yeah, we're just up here gonna put in some miles. This is definitely a hike and not a walk. So you may hear me pausing while I catch my breath or get caught, get a little bit of a break, and this may include music and stuff too, but we'll see. Hi, you excited? He's like, oh, new smells, what is this? Oh, look at all those smells. That's cool, huh? Yeah. So yeah, well, there's a decent amount of cars in the parking lot today. So we'll see what it looks like once we get to the actual loop. And if it looks quiet enough, there's probably like 6 cars. I don't want to say a ton, but for up here, that's a decent amount. But we'll see how we're looking once we get to the main trail. I think I mentioned this the last time we came up here, but this trail looks like a balloon with a string. So we're on the string part, walking up towards the balloon, and then we do a loop around the balloon, and then we come back down the string is kind of how it works. So we'll get to the balloon, see what we're looking like, and if it's quiet, relatively quiet, then I'll let Apollo off leash so he can bound around. If it's busy and I'm seeing a lot of dogs and stuff, then I'll just keep him on for the whole shebang. But yeah, I hope everything's going well for you. Life stuff for me, not a ton of updates. Ooh, muddy. It's muddy. Not a ton of updates. Work's going well. Come on, let's go. Ooh, muddy. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you can hear that, but it is really muddy. Ooh. Hope I don't slip. But yeah, work's going well. Still not crazy busy, which is nice. Got been working on some projects. I'm working on revamping our interview training guide for our managers. When they conduct interviews, the training is a little outdated, so I've been tasked with completely revamping that. And so the company I work for is using a new program called Rise for their trainings. And so I got access to that and started watching some of the trainings on how to use the new software. So I've been watching those, and then on Thursday of this week, at the time of filming this, I had a meeting with one of our learning and development managers that, develops trainings, but they're letting me do this one myself. Ooh, the mud. Oh my gosh. Apollo's avoiding it, but I can't really. Okay. Yeah, I had a meeting with her so she could give me a breakdown of like how our company is using it, as well as some other tips and tricks, which was really nice. So now that I have all my training, and the other thing that she showed me is, the company I work for has specific like templates and colors that we use that are like company colors and stuff. So she wanted to show me like the right layout and color scheme and all of that stuff. So that was good. So I have that now. So now I can start actually building out the training. So that's going to be a big part of what I'm working on over the next probably month. I told her that the goal that my manager set was to have this done by Q3. And she's like, oh, that soon? I was like, that soon? That's like 8 months I have to get this done, I guess. Oh, maybe like 7 months, 6 or 7 months. But still, that seems like plenty of time. I'm like, I think I can crank this out in a couple weeks. But who knows? Once I actually get into it, I might be like, whoa, I need a lot more time. Whoa. Hiking uphill in the mud is not easy. Let me follow Apollo. He seems to have the right idea. It's a little better. Whew. This is a good one, huh? Forgot there's a lot of uphill on this walk. It's like, it's kind of like the balloon at the halfway point going through around the loop is the highest point. So we'll actually start at the lowest point of the hike. And so regardless of which way you go, clockwise or counterclockwise, it's uphill until you get to the halfway point, and then your opposite way will be all downhill for the most part. It has some upsies and downsies coming back down, but for the most part you're going downhill. So I forgot that this part is, we're going up to get to the start, and then it's more up. So yeah, today I almost thought that we'd stay in and have a lazy day. I woke up today pretty late, and Apollo was still sleeping on the floor, because usually he'll jump up in bed and kind of wake me up when he's ready to get going. But today he was being lazy, and I was like, come up here with me, baby. And he came and jumped in bed and laid right on top of my chest and passed out again while I was petting him, which usually means it's a lazy day. And I test it sometimes, because when I say, all right, baby, it's time to get up. Let's go. Let's start our day. Come on. And he'll get up and kind of stretch in bed and then jump off the bed, and he's ready and raring to go. But today I was petting him. I'm like, okay, come on, it's time to go. Let's start our day. And he just looked at me and goes, just like exhaled and just kept laying on me. And I'm like, oh, you want a lazy day today, huh? And he was just sprawled out on me, pinning me down. And at first I was like, okay, we'll make today a lazy day. But I was like, let's do a Sunday lazy day and make Saturday our longer hike day, so he gets nice and tuckered out. And then hopefully tomorrow he'll be still in a bum kind of mood. And then all we have to do is just do a couple walks around the neighborhood throughout the day, nothing too extreme. But that'll give me time to hang out at the house and do laundry and chores and, you know, all of that stuff. But I thought today was a good day to come out here and bounce around a little bit. And plus, I have been hankering for some dim sum, and my favorite dim sum place / maybe my favorite restaurant in Colorado is in Colorado Springs, which is about a 15-minute drive from here, and it's called Yellow Mountain Tea House. I think I've brought it up before, but I'm hoping today I'll be able to go down there and actually vlog and film the store and the whole tea process and everything. I'm going to ask them if it's okay, so I can show you that experience, because it's very cool, very unique. They do a whole service, like tea service, and it's very ceremonial and stuff. So I'd like to show you that. I've talked about it, but I don't think I've ever filmed it. So this is the split. So you can go that way or this way. I always go this way. And the sign says it's 3 and 3/4 miles from here. Oh my gosh, this is so slick. Okay, okay. Hold on, Apollo. Whoa, that was icy. It was like pure ice. Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah. Oh, it is slick, Apollo. Oh my word. Hiking boots are necessary. If I would have remembered, I would have brought in my micro spikes, the little spikes that you put on your shoes, because this is very slick. Oh my gosh. Let's get over here. Okay. Let's turn around. Whew. Yeah, that was, look at that. That was like all ice all the way down there. Scary. Scary. Okay. Come on. Highly recommend good boots or hiking shoes with not worn out tread when you come on hikes like this. Oh my gosh. Whew. You don't need those, huh, Apollo? You got claws. You got paw claws. Oh. Okay. We'll get a little bit of a reprieve here for a minute. Then we start going uphill again. Whew. So yeah, work's going good. Not super demanding, but I'm keeping myself busy, and it'll pick up here in a few weeks for sure as we get into intern season and people start submitting for retirement. So then we get a lot of promotions that we have to process to fill those retirement slots. Hold on. I got so much gunk in the back of my shoe. Okay. So yeah, we process retirements, then a lot of promotions into those roles that have opened up because someone retired, and then it's just a trickle down effect. So promote up, and then that leaves us with a big batch of entry to mid-level roles that were left by everyone that got promoted up. And so that's when external hiring really kicks into high gear. So it's probably going to be a little bit crazy here in the next month or so, but we'll see. Come over here. Okay. Hello. Hello. Let's go this way. Are you excited to romp? It might be a little bit. We got to see if there's people coming. Okay, we've got another good incline. Let's hit it strong. Come on, bud. Oh, you got a stick. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Good boy. Stay. Yep. Stay.
It's a little icy right up ahead.
So okay.
Be careful.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Stay. Oh, stay.
No.
Hey, Apollo. He almost did a good job. He tried to leap right at the end there. He's getting better. Sometimes he doesn't mind. Like sometimes he'll let dogs just pass. I found that when we're moving and walking by dogs, he's much less jumpy. Like if we're just walking past another dog that's walking in the opposite direction, he'll just keep doing his sniffs and his own thing. But if I try to, on this kind of trail, it's so narrow that you can't really do that, so I have to pull off. And when we pull off and we're stationary and there's dogs walking past, he sometimes will just leave them be, and sometimes he wants to leap at them. But it's kind of a half-hearted leap, like he knows that he can't get to them. So he just kind of like gets up on his hind legs and just leans against me, and I'm like, hey, don't do that. Oh, she wasn't kidding, it's slick. Whew. There's some really steep parts on this trail on the second half, so I'm curious to see how those are going to go for me. Done our first mile. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I might have to do a little butt slide or something, because even when there's no snow or ice, it freaks me out, so I can only imagine. Ooh, icy! This way. Apollo, this way. Good boy. You're doing good, bud. You're doing really good. More stuff in the shoe. Hold on. It's like got random gravel and stuff kicking up into the back of my boot, so it rubs up against my ankle, and I'm like, what is that? Up we go. Ooh, icy. Let's see, let's get off the... Holy moly. Oy. Oh, it's a little scary. I mean, it's not like there's a steep drop on the side or anything, but it's never fun to fall on ice, that's for sure. Luckily, it's ever so slightly melted in some areas, so it kind of has a slushy top layer, and for whatever reason that feels more safe than if it was just like super cold out today and it was still like just completely slick, you know. But I bet you this will refreeze tonight, and so tomorrow morning, you know, I'm sure bright and early in the morning before it's gotten sun on it, this would be really hard without spikes. But we're up here a little bit later in the day. We definitely took our time getting ready this morning and being a little lazy, so it's already like 1:30, so keep moving, good boy, little Sniffy. Okay, so from what I remember, we go through a pretty steep little foresty area, like the trees come in a lot closer, and then it turns into more of like a meadow-ish kind of uphill, and you really can see ahead of you on the trail. So once we get there, I'll try to let him off. But yeah, outside of work, other life stuff, nothing too major. Roommates are doing good, enjoying the new place. My one roommate, Joe, he's a construction manager, and they do a lot of projects up in the mountains A, because I think up in the mountains it's hard to get good work, and so even though their company's based in Denver, they'll rent an Airbnb or a house up there, and then they'll do their project while they're up there. So I think A, it's probably money, and B, all of my buddies that work at this company, which 5 of them all work together. 2 of them are the owners, Joe's a manager, and then 2 others are just kind of like they do labor stuff, I guess is the best way to put it. So they are all skiers. So I think part of it is there's good money to be had, but also they ski Winter Park. So they'll rent this house, do work on the house that they're, the project's for all week, and then they'll just stay up there all weekend and ski all weekend and then work again. And they do that pretty much throughout the entire winter. They'll have projects up there. So, it's kind of funny. I think it's like we intentionally do these projects so we can have some fun and not have to drive up and down the mountain the whole time. It's kind of smart, I guess. So yeah, but he's here he's in Golden this weekend, because that project up in the mountains is wrapping up. So he was like, oh, I'll be down. I come down on Thursday, and then I'm gonna let Apollo off here, I think. Okay. Ready? Oh, hi. You ready? Ready? Go! He's like a little bunny. Come here. You ready? Go! It's deep, huh? That's deep snow. Go get it. Is that deep snow? Ready? Apollo, go! Come on. Is that too deep for you? Okay, come here. Easy. Good boy. Okay, let's keep going. So anyway, he was like, oh, I'll be back down from Winter Park on Thursday. I plan on just hanging out this weekend if you want to do stuff. And I was like, okay. So he comes all the way back down from Winter Park, which is probably about the same distance, hour and 30 minutes, hour and 45 minutes from Golden, but straight west, slightly northwest, whereas we're straight south from Golden right now. And so he comes all the way back down, gets all in his cozy comfies, and he's relaxing on the couch. And then one of our other buddies who works for that same company was texting him, and he's like, hey, I had some of my old college friends into town, they came into town, and we decided to rent an Airbnb up in Steamboat Springs. You should come. And he's like, oh, like he's literally in his like robe, his house coat, and just hanging out on the couch. And he's like texting them. He's like, oh, I don't want to miss a really good snow day, because they're like all about how many inches and blah, blah, blah. Ski people are obsessed with talking about how many inches and base layers and how fresh it is and all that stuff. So he's chatting with them, and they finally convinced him to go up. So he got back up, redressed, got all of his ski stuff back in his truck, and then drove back up. And Steamboat's even farther than Winter Park. And I'm like, why didn't you just go from Winter Park to Steamboat and save yourself the extra 3 hours round trip? He's like, well, they didn't invite me originally. I knew they were going up there, but no one said anything to me, so I figured it was just him and his friends. But I don't want to miss a good snow day. So he got all packed up and went back up there on Thursday night just to turn around and come. He was there this morning. He came back last night. So he's only up there for one night, and then all of Friday skiing. So he was back. He's like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. I mean, it was really good skiing, but the house was jam-packed and the only spot for me was on the couch. But of course, these guys are all college bros. And so, they're up until 2, 3 in the morning partying. And then they get back up in the morning and just go ski all day. So he's like, yeah, my spot was on the couch, but everyone stayed up all night. And so I kind of had to just stay up with them and kind of play along, but I was so tired from all that driving. And so he was like, yeah, I just, they didn't have a spot for me, so I just decided to come back. And I was like, that's fair. So I asked him if he wanted to come along with us today, and he's like, no more driving. I'm going to sit in the house in my robe, drink espressos, and watch TV all day. And I was like, that sounds like an awesome plan. That's my plan for tomorrow, aside from chores and diamond painting. So, you got me mixed up. Okay. So yeah, but I'm thinking maybe tomorrow he might be interested in doing like a brunch or something. So I'll have to ask him. And my other roommate was just gone. He was gone today. I don't know where he scampered off to. This way. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. Good job, buddy. So yeah, roommate stuff's going good. My one roommate, I will say, I was talking to, so last night, as far as like extracurriculars that I've been doing, not much. A lot of diamond painting, a lot of video filming and editing the past few days. But last night, my friend Jackie, who is my old roommate's cousin, they're all from the Philly area. Philadelphia and Hazleton, I think, are the two places. So Jackie and her fiance Matt are both from Hazleton, and they just moved from kind of where I used to live. They moved into downtown Denver, into these stunning apartments, new build apartments right in downtown Denver. I don't know how much those are a month. I'm not sure, but good for them for being able to pull that off, because that apartment is beautiful. It has a floor-to-ceiling windows in the living room and bedroom, and so you can see the mountains, you can see downtown. It's just fantastic. So they just moved in at the beginning of this month, and so they were like, come see the new place. And I last night was kind of already in a wind down mode, because they didn't send this to me until like 8 o'clock. And so that's usually when I'm doing a shower or skincare, just kind of winding down. But I was like, I should be social. It's like, sure, I'll meet you. So I went over there and saw their new place. Absolutely fantastic. And hung out at their place. They had already gone to dinner, so my old roommate Jeff and his girlfriend were there. And so they had already done dinner and drinks. By the time I got over there, it was like, pushing 9:30. And so they're like, we were planning on going back out and getting a couple of drinks, but they were all like, now that we're sitting down on the couch, this is really nice. I don't know if we want to go back out. And I was like, well, that's perfect for me, because I don't drink anymore. So I don't mind not going to bars. And so they're like, okay, cool. So they had like their White Claws or whatever at the house, and like, let's just put on a TV show and hang out. And they put on Jersey Shore, which I have never seen before. I mean, I've seen like clips, like there'd be a news article or something when I was younger. Not even back then, but even after, I think Jersey Shore was a thing where they'd have a crazy scene of something that happened. But I've never seen like a full episode. Didn't know any of the characters other than Snooki because of South Park. And so it was very interesting. I at first was like not into it because I'm like, these people are so just not, this is so steep, oh my gosh. These people are just not my vibe, but also totally my vibe. It's almost like they make me cringe, but I also find something very charming in some of them not. There was like, we watched 2 episodes, and at the end of the second episode we watched, Sam, I think her name is, or Sammy, and then this other guy, Ron, got into this like huge explosive fight, and it went from like, okay, this is something that you could still laugh at, to this is a problem. Like, he was like just manhandling her, which I didn't care for. And then the very end shot, she's like, let me go, like, let me buy you, because they're all in this house together. It's like, let me go, let me buy you. And Ron just screams right in her face, no! And I was like, this is uncomfortable. Like, how did they get away with filming this? And also, why is everybody else in the house was just sitting on couches and bean bags or whatever, just listening and kind of snickering and just staring or looking down. And I'm like, get on that duck phone and call the police. Like, this isn't okay. Like, he shouldn't be treating her like that. So I was a little upset at that. And they were like, my friends were like, well, you have to understand that Sam's also not, you know, she's just as volatile. I'm like, I don't care. Like, he doesn't get to shove her down on the bed, and the dogs are barking. Those poor dogs, oh my gosh. So I didn't care for that, and generally didn't care for it. But at the same time, are you loving it? Are you loving it, big boy? Come here. Good boy. Come on. Good boy. I also found, and keep in mind, I've only seen 2 episodes, so maybe my opinions will change if I ever watch it again, but I found Snooki to be very sweet, and she seemed like she was just there to have a good time, but she also wasn't like, at least in the 2 episodes I saw, she wasn't like acting super volatile or like screaming at people. She was just kind of there, you know. Let's see if this couple has a dog. Yeah, they do. Come here. Is that another little husky butt? Yeah. So yeah, I just found her to be very charming for some reason. And then the other one that drew me in was, is it Pauly D is his name? I found him to also, at least in the 2 episodes I saw, not to be super like over the top, crazy, confrontational, screaming at a bar. He just seemed to kind of like poke jokes at everything and like make little quips. And I just thought his mannerisms were a lot more endearing. Like, all the other guys on that show were very like macho, like can't take a joke unless, or can't be funny unless they're hammered kind of guys. But I found Pauly D to have some fun little quips, and even the way he was like, there was one shot where all 3 guys are sitting on the couch, and 2 of them are sitting like, you know, straight up and down, legs spread as wide as possible to try to create as, you know, take up as much space as they could, and just like very, very bro kind of relaxed but not relaxed, you know what I mean? Like, this is how I sit relaxed, and it's still very rigid. And then Polly is kind of curled up with his legs and feet up on the couch, just kind of like hugging his legs. And like, see, there's something sensitive and like like there's something, he has like a softness that I appreciated, because it just gets super bro-y in that show, and you need a little bit of that to cut it, you know? And so I just also found his character or persona or whatever a little charming, and his hair is just like ridiculous. I was telling my friends, I'm like, you guys should do a drinking game of, you have to drink every time there's a can of hairspray or a tube of hair gel in the shot, because it was like every shot, no matter if they're in their rooms or in the bathroom or in the kitchen or next to a side table, there's always a flat, any flat surface had a can of got to be like freezing hairspray that almost looks like a fire extinguisher kind of nozzle. And then the blue, the hairspray's yellow, and then the blue got to be hair like spiking gel that was everywhere in that house. Sometimes like 3 or 4 cans deep, like they had it in reserve. I'm like, how much are you going through every day? This is crazy. And is production paying, like, is there a budget for that? Or is this just you? So I just thought it was wild. I've never seen that show before. And they're all, you know, Philly, you know, Jersey adjacent. So they were like super into it, had all seen it. Okay, Apollo. This is one of the bigger uphills, steeper uphills. We just have to be careful. Okay, I'm gonna go for it. Okay, let's go. Don't make me pull you up this. Good boy, pull me. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Good boy. Holy moly. Holy moly. Go, go, go. Oh, okay, we made it. Look at that. That would have been fun. Slip down. We have stuff like that on the downhill part, so I might have to do a little butt sliding. Okay. Let's do a little off-leash action. Okay. Good boy, this is so pretty. Beautiful. You ready? Ready? Go! Go get it! Go, go, go! Go, go, go! Go get it! Go get it! It's like, it's too deep, Dad. You ready? Apollo? Go, go, go. Is it deep? Going. Was it too deep? Let's go. Let's go. Cute boy. You're my little angel. So anyway, that's Jersey Shore. They said, next time you come over, like, let's make this a thing. Let's have you over and we can do dinner and stuff and we'll show you Jersey Shore, because they all know like all the episodes and every season. So like when the new episode would play, because they weren't playing them in order on whatever station it was on or channel, they're like, no, this is season 2. This has got to be season 2 because blah 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 is not there and XYZ. And then they'd be like, no, I think it's season 3, episode 8, because that's right around the time when Ron and Sam, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, how do you have this encyclopedic? And they're like, this is Thursday nights were Jersey Shore nights. I'm like, oh my God. So they were loving it. I liked it. It wasn't my favorite piece of television I've ever seen. I just collapsed into the snow. Okay. Be nice to your dad. Let's go on this side. But yeah, it was fine. Would I go out of my way to watch it? No. But it was fun to laugh with friends and just do some commentary. I was like, I want, like, the one episode that we watched, they were like going out and partying, and then they come home and the house is just a mess. And, you know, things get messy. I'm not trying to, you know, call out anyone for being messy, but it was just so gross in my opinion. Like there was just like food on the floor, and just like underneath the beds was just stuff overflowing out into the bedrooms, and it looked so small and the beds look so teeny tiny. And I'm like, how did this get made? Like, this is nuts. But I was telling them, like, they should have done back in the day, they should have done like a smell-o-vision thing. I remember they did that once on Fox. They did smell-o-vision Simpsons and like smell-o-vision Seinfeld and stuff. So you'd go to the grocery store or the gas station and you'd buy a smell-o-vision card. So it's this big scratch and sniff card. And as you were watching TV, a little pop-up would come up on the screen that would be like, scratch scent number 4. Is that deep? Go. Good boy. Come on, sweetheart. It would be like, scratch scent number 4. And if like Homer was eating popcorn, it would smell like popcorn. Or if they were baking bread, or there was like a bakery in Seinfeld, you'd scratch it and it smelled like bread. And there was some like gross ones, like Homer burps after drinking a beer, and it would be like beer, scratch and sniff. And I remember being so excited for that when I was a kid, and like me and my mom went to the grocery store after school, or after she got home from work, and went and got the scratch cards, the sniff cards, and then we hung out in the living room and had dinner and did the scratch and sniff Fox, you know, whatever night that was. But that was a lot of fun. Oh, I forgot about this uphill. So we go up and up and up to the top of that ridge up there, and then it gets a little bit better. We're making good time though, considering everything. We're at 2.1 miles. And I think it's a total of 5 if you include the in and out of the balloon string. Whew. Nice. That was a fastball. You did good. You want another one? You ready? Nice. Good boy. Come on. So anyway, I was like, wouldn't it be funny if they did that for Jersey Shore? Because it would be like stale beer and hairspray and an unclean bathroom smell and like, and no laundry's been done in several years. Hold on. Easy. Good boy. Thank you. Hold on just a second, everyone. So yeah, it was an interesting experience. But I always thought that Snooki was going to be the most explosive, crazy one, because I remember back when that was a thing, that's the person that everyone would have always like make jokes about or poke fun at was Snooki. And I'm like, she seems to me, at least in the 2 episodes that I've seen, to be the most tame of the bunch. There's another woman, I forget her name. It's like Deanna, I don't remember. But there was another one that seemed to be a pretty background character as well. Like, she was just kind of in the background, sipping a cocktail, and always had she had like a black bow in her. She always had like a little bow or something going on, but she didn't seem to cause much ruckus. She was just kind of there. But it was mostly this Sam guy, Ron, and then this guy Mike, who I was like, he was just a little troublemaker and kind of a jerk. But maybe my feelings will change the more I watch of it. But from 2 episodes, that's what I got. Hi, cutie. Hi, sweet boy. You're very cute. Let's go forward. Just gonna get to the top of this crest, and then I'll keep gabbing your ear off. Whew. Look at him investigating. What is it? What is it? You gonna burrow in there? Get it. Get it. Okay, come on. But anyway, that's Jersey Shore. You'll have to let me know if there's particular seasons or episodes I need to see. Otherwise, I'll just kind of watch it a la carte. I don't know if there's like a through line, like if there's plot points or like a story to be told, or if it's just like episode by episode, drama ensues. They all go out and drink. More drama ensues, and then that's the end. I think that's kind of the common threads in that show from what I watched. But yeah. Whew. Almost there. Come on, bud. We got this. This is so gorgeous. I love it up here. Hopefully the new camera is giving you some better shots than when we came up here last year. I think I had my action camera, but I was just talking directly to the camera and not on mic. Or it could have been early enough that I was just using my phone still. But I'm hoping that you're getting some better peeks at this. I need to invest in a new hard drive that has faster read-write speeds. Hold on. Oh, wow. That's gorgeous. Come on, buddy. This is awesome. I love it up here. Other than the power lights, obviously, but that view is spectacular. There's a few really good ones now that we're at the crest. So we're at not quite the high point of this entire hike, but pretty much. Like, it doesn't get too much higher than this. We still have a lot of ups and downs. It's very hilly, but that was technically the worst of it. Come on, bud. Let's go. Let's go. I'm gonna let you off here in a second. And stay with me. Stay with me, baby. This is kind of the straightaway. Once you get around this corner, you can see pretty far down the trail. It's pretty much straight. And so I should be able to get a good view of anybody coming around the bend. So if they've got dogs, then I can clip the boy up. Are you just loving this? He's like, I'm home. I'm finally home. Come on, little snow bunny. But yeah, that's Jersey Shore talk. Other than that, as far as life stuff, nothing really is going on. I've been doing some shoulder workouts just to keep my shoulder in check. And, okay, that ties into a different topic, but I'm going to try to stay on task here and not tangent out super hard. Skincare is a separate topic. We'll get to that next. But yeah, I have been doing some shoulder exercises, building up some strength. I'm feeling good. It's still, certain movements still hurt. And I do think that something happened with my shoulders because it's still doing that weird popping thing from time to time. So something's up, but at least the inflammation has gone down. The pain, like just, I don't have any consistent pain. Like it feels totally fine right now. But if I was to move my arm in a certain way or put pressure on it a certain way, like sometimes when I'm grabbing a pull's leash at a certain angle, it'll hurt a little bit. And it's still doing the little popping noise, like something's out of whack, but it's not painful. In fact, yesterday when we were going to bed, I almost put my arm over my head to fall asleep, and I was like, no, don't do that. So it doesn't hurt anymore so bad that I can't even, like, when I first noticed there was an issue and it was really painful, I couldn't even put my arm up over my head, and now it's no problem, but I still feel like something's up. So I have my check-in with the orthopedic surgeon next week, or this coming week, I think on Wednesday. So I'm going to let him know that and let him feel it. And I'm pretty sure they're going to do an MRI just to see if there really is anything wrong, or I just need to keep exercising it or working it out and stretching it. But yeah, I just don't want any long-lasting damage. And I know I've heard that if you do have a shoulder that dislocates a lot and you're like, oh, I'll just put it in myself, or I'll just live with, the pain, you put it going in and out and being in and out of socket, you can end up pinching nerves and get numbness in your arm and your hand, or just, persistent pain. And I don't want that to be my, eventuality, as I get older. So whatever it is, I want to have it looked at and taken care of. That sun is just beating down. It feels good, but also I'm like, I hope this sunscreen's working. I'll show you what I got. Where is my sunscreen? Pialo, where's my sunscreen? Oh, go. Boom. Banana Boat, new protection plus vitamins. Vitamin C plus B3. Vitamin C is really, really nice antioxidant. I wonder in what form they're claiming it's in here. It's got niacinamide, which is really good for hydration, brightening. They've got ascorbyl glucoside. I'm not sure if that's a form of vitamin C. It might be. It's got green tea leaf extract in it, which is nice and soothing. It's got mica in it, which is just cosmetic to add a little bit of shimmer or glow. I don't know why we need that in this. I'm assuming ascorbyl glucoside is a derivative of vitamin C, so it probably has some antioxidant benefit, but it's not going to be nearly as effective as L-ascorbic acid is, like your pure vitamin C, and that's the most beneficial for antioxidant power. It can help with brightening. It can help with brightening, like lightening dark spots and stuff, but in a sunscreen, and they don't tell you what percentage it is. I'm sure it's fairly low, and it's ascorbyl glucoside. I think that's the ingredient. Is a derivative, and so it's not nearly as potent. So I think that's more marketing than anything else, but my sunscreen is here to protect my skin from the rays, not to, deal with dark spots and stuff. I mean, sunscreen in and of itself will help to combat dark spots because it's preventing them from getting worse, but I'm not asking my sunscreen to, like, lighten dark spots and fade things. Just keep things from getting worse. And keep me from getting like some sort of skin disease. Apollo, you ready? Come here. Come here. You ready? Go. Good boy. Come on. Oh my gosh. Oh, you cutie. Anyway, so my arm stuff, just, I need them to take another look at it. Come here. Easy. Easy. I can't see what's, oh, hold on. I can't see what's coming up over the crest. Oh, hold on. There we go. Okay. But in doing those exercises, I've also been trying to do some sit-ups and planks, like just kind of create a whole morning workout routine. I haven't been doing it a lot, but trying to get into the more like strength stuff instead of just a lot of hiking and walking. But I can say that since it's now coming up on 5 months, 6 months, I guess 5 months, since I stopped drinking, and have just been, especially now that I moved to Golden, I've been eating better because I've just been going to Natural Grocers. I got on HelloFresh again, just like eating a little bit better. I've lost a little bit more weight, so much so, and this might not even be just like physical weight loss, but just like body composition changes, or things are just looking a little bit better, but my stomach's a little bit flatter. My waist is a little bit smaller. I've been having to wear belts on most of my pants now, and I didn't used to need to do that, but it's just like keeping my pants up has been a little bit of a struggle. And then yesterday when I was getting ready to go over to Jackie and Matt's, you know, I dolled up a little bit, you know, you go see friends. So I put on some of my older khakis that are a size smaller than I've been wearing recently, and they fit just fine. And not only that, I put on a belt with them, not that they were sagging, but, you know, just once again, gussing up a little bit, put on a belt, and I was able to notch it one notch tighter than I ever have before since I've had that belt. Like I went past the super worn out belt hole and went to the next one that hasn't been used before. And I was like, oh, so that's been kind of nice. I mean, I haven't been making super conscious decisions on what I eat necessarily. I think just by osmosis, being next to like a health food store, like literally across the street, I walk over there and get myself stuff for dinner or for lunch or for a snack, and it's always like, you know, chia seed something bar, you know, something like that. And I've developed a sweet tooth since I stopped drinking because my body still wants the sugar, and I used to feed that with, you know, regular just sugar, like, oh, I'll get some sticky buns, those will be a nice treat at night. And now that I've moved, I'm like, I want something a little bit sweet, and I'm also thirsty, so I'll go over there and get like a kombucha, which the ones that I get have like 4 grams of sugar, and it feeds my sweet tooth at night, and it's got, you know, probiotics and good gut stuff. So like my little treats now, instead of oatmeal cream pies or whatever I was getting, now I'm like, oh, I just want a little kombucha, or maybe I'll get some of these cacao nibs and nibble on those. Those are really good. So I think just by sheer laziness of it's right across the street and convenience, I've somehow been eating better, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I think I've lost probably since October. I never really weighed myself when I stopped drinking or anything. It was just like, I just decided to do it. But I'd say I'm down probably somewhere in the realm of 15 pounds lost since October, which feels good. It feels really good. And I'm going to keep it up. When I was over at Jackie's, she's like, okay, what does everyone want? I've got Heinekens, I've got High Noons, I've got wine. And so everyone was placing their orders while she was at the fridge, and she's like, Anthony, do you want a High Noon or something? Are you not drinking still? And I was like, no, I'm not. And she got me a water with some, was it raspberries or something? And it was very good. It was like a little sparkling water refresher that she made for me. So that was cool. But I will say, and I don't even know if we'll have time for it on this hike. We'll have to see once we get through our normal conversational stuff, if we have time for it. but I think I'm gonna my break my sobriety at Cedar Point. I think I'm going to. What better time? You know, I've been saying, oh, you never know, I might do it for a special occasion or something. That is going to be the specialist of occasions. And so I may have a beer or something with dinner at Cedar Point. Just, you know, that'll also be 8 months without a single drink. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I feel like at this point, part of me worries like, oh, you're going to do that and then suddenly you're going to remember like some of the supposed social benefits of having a drink, or just like, you know, makes you feel good or whatever. So I'm like, what if I do it and I'm like, oh, this is nice, and then suddenly I'm back on it. But I hope not. I hope that's not where my head's at. I haven't tested it, so I can't say. But I think Cedar Point might be it. But let's not go too far into Cedar Point because that's its own hour-long conversation. Okay, let's get past this hill. I'll let you off again because you seem like you want to bounce. But yeah, so that's been kind of a secondary benefit to moving, is just being closer to like a health food store. And also, I've been taking Apollo on much longer walks than we used to. When we'd go around the neighborhood, we usually do about 2 miles was kind of our max when we weren't doing like a big walk day. And now we're like almost doubling that because I love walking around Golden. It's so much fun. It's very relaxing. It's a peaceful town. So I just put on an audiobook or a podcast or a whip and chat and just kind of zone out and just walk and look around and say hi to people. And Apollo just gets his sniffs in and has a great time. So yeah, we've just been exercising, a lot more walking, a lot more hiking, that type of thing. So you might see some more whippin' jams coming your way, because I'm like, if I'm going to go for a walk, I might as well just throw on the camera and film it, even though I'm not saying anything. And the whippin' jam videos don't get nearly as much, you know, views or traction as the rest of my content because it isn't me talking, it's just music. So, you know, if you're looking for your whip-in chats and your vlogs and stuff for company to be kept, you don't really get that from those, unfortunately. But there are a few people that really seem to like them. So I'm like, if a couple people enjoy them, then there's no huge time investment for me in filming them because I don't have to hold a camera or anything. And when it comes to editing those, if I don't talk for the whole thing, then I just mute all of the audio coming from the camera, and then I just throw music over it. It's not that hard. So they're easy videos to put up, and if, you know, a few people like them, then it's worth it to me. So I'll keep doing those. Probably see more of them soon. But yeah, that's kind of workout stuff, is just a lot more walking and now incorporating some strength training. And eventually I'll get back into the gym. We'll see. We shall see. That's a big hurdle for me, is waking up an hour early for that, or staying an hour late at work for that because we have a gym on site. That's a bigger lifestyle change, is all that. And we have spring forward at the time of filming. This is tonight, so I'm gonna lose an hour, but that's okay. That's okay. How you doing, big guy? You good? You can stop here in a little bit and get some water, probably. Although you've been eating plenty of snow. This way, sweetheart. Good boy. Oh, you're such a good boy. So yeah, we're at just about 3 miles. So I'd say this is a little bit past the halfway mark for the total hike. So, and we've been going for 80 minutes, which means I need to reapply sunscreen, and we've burned about 525 calories. Woo! Let's keep going. And if you're working on a whip, then just calculate how much of your section that you've got done, how many colors that you finished in that section, how much multi-placing you were able to crank out. Like, that's how I kind of do it. Like, when I listen to Whip and Chats and audiobooks, I'll kind of like start the time and I'm like, okay, this is an hour-and-a-half podcast. Let's see how much of this section I can get done by the time they're doing their outros and stuff. And that's kind of how I keep track of my own time, how long I've been diamond painting and that kind of thing. Or I'll say, all right, by the time they hit the 30-minute mark, I want to have X amount of colors done or something like that. I try to come up with like little points, little checkpoints for myself. I find that it keeps me motivated, and it's still relaxing, it's still fun. I'm not like trying to stress about it, but I am definitely, I like chasing carrots. I like chasing carrots. Give me a goal or a challenge, and and if it's something I'm interested in, I'm gonna give it a good try. I remember bringing you all through here in the fall, I think, last year or the year before, and these aspen trees were just created this big green canopy. It's still very beautiful in the winter, but you don't get the leaves. Come on. It'd be awesome to come up here when the leaves start changing in like October. Be really pretty. There's a couple areas. Maybe this year we'll do a fall leaves changing hike. I did one last year, but it was with a bunch of friends, and so I didn't get to vlog it because we were all hiking together. But maybe this year I'll get a chance to sneak away and do one by myself so you can see the leaves change, the aspen leaves, because it is gorgeous. But that hike was a lot of fun. None of my friends had been up there. I went with the same group, Jackie, Matt, Jeff, and his girlfriend. We went up on that hike, and they had never been up there before, and it's like one of my favorite hikes. I brought you there too. It's called Cataract Lake. And they had never been up there before. They're like, this is such like the perfect mountain hike. Like, it has all the things. I'm like, yeah, that's why I like it. And it's easy too, so it's good for if you have family or friends in, or if you're visiting and you're not used to like the elevation and don't want to do anything too strenuous. I mean, I would consider it moderate, just because there are some hills and steep parts, so I would call it moderate for someone that's not used to hiking or not used to the elevation. But if you're comfortable with some moderate exercise and you're comfortable with hiking and stuff, it's pretty much a breeze. It's like 2 miles. So it's shorter than what we've already done here today. But it's gorgeous, and it feels a lot longer than it is. But I'm going to pause right here so I can give this boy some water, and then I'm going to reapply my sunscreen, and we'll keep going. So hang tight. Okay, you ready? Let's go. Good boy. Good boy. Thank you for being patient. I definitely put on too much sunscreen. I squeezed out a giant glob, but you know, I feel like every year brands like Banana Boat and what's the other one, Hawaiian Tropic and Copper Tone. Oh, what's wrong with these? There we go. Okay. Sorry, I'm wearing headphones just in case I do stop talking and want to put on music or a podcast or something. I almost always just walk with my headphones. Not on noise cancellation. I can still hear everything around me, but I just like to bring them with me. So the best place to have them is just on your head. But anyway, I guess that'll allow us to transition into skincare updates. So yeah, I feel like every year, Hawaiian Tropic, Copper Tone, Banana Boat, they always have their old standbys. Like, for me, I usually buy Banana Boat. I've just had the best luck with them. I try sunscreens from tons of different brands, from Korea, from Europe. Australia has some really amazing sunscreen formulations. So my stash is chock full of every which way and sideways sunscreen that you could possibly want. But I also keep, for my body, I always keep either a big old bottle of Japanese sunscreens, usually will come in big like value sizes, or I just get Banana Boat Sport SPF 50 has always been my go-to. And that formulation's pretty much stayed the same. It's that thick, heavy, greasy lotion formula that just smells intensely of sunscreen and it doesn't go away. And, it just sits on the surface of your skin. So they have those, standby old formulations, but I feel like every year they come out with something slightly different or an improved formula or something a little bit more just cosmetically elegant. And this one, this Protect C and B3, which I believe B3 is niacinamide, and they just get so much nicer in terms of like texture and feel and application. Like this one is the body sunscreen, but when I was at Walgreens, I looked at the smaller bottle, which was for face, and the ingredients were exactly the same. I think the face one had a little bit more coconut oil in it, and that was really it. So I'm like, okay, so you're gonna charge me $15 for 2 ounces of the face sunscreen, or $15 for 5 ounces of the body one, and they're literally exactly the same for the most part. I wonder if the fragrance is a little bit different on the face one, but regardless, this feels so much better than US, drugstore sunscreens have felt like any other ones that I've used. They like constantly are just improving some of these formulations. There's another one, I think that might be from Banana Boat too, and it's called Light as Air. I really like that one, but this might actually be better, and it doesn't smell intensely of sunscreen. It smells a little bit like orange vanilla, kind of like orange creamsicle, but very light. Like I don't even smell it anymore. So they just keep getting better. So if any of you don't mind wearing sunscreen, or your reservation of wearing sunscreen is like, I just don't like how greasy it feels or sticky or smelly, give some of these new ones, these new products that you can pick up at the drugstore a try, because they're very affordable, they're easily accessible. Of course, where's my glasses? There they are. I have so many recommendations for like Korean sunscreens and stuff, but those can sometimes be a little bit harder to come by, and it can be confusing to know if you're getting a mineral sunscreen, which is gonna most likely leave a white cast or not, because the bottles look very similar. So yeah, if you need any of those recs, but just this C and B3 protection from Banana Boat is, even with the heavy layer I put on, it feels more like a satiny finish than a greasy one. I'm gonna stop because we're hitting a super steep part again. So give me a minute. Okay. All right, we're here at the precipice. This is kind of the tallest point, but I want to sneak around these trees so I can show you Pikes Peak. We've done this already before, but we're up here. Might as well do the big sights while we're here. So let's go down this way. I was talking about skincare and sunscreen. But aside from sunscreen, I've been trying to keep up and do my skincare routine more consistently, because I feel like my skin's just looking better and better, like the longer it's been since I stopped drinking, and I want to kind of keep improving that. And They say that like lifestyle and genetics are like the two biggest contributing factors to the not only general health, but well, I guess maybe not for general health, but definitely like the appearance of skin is heavily impacted not only by just your genes, but also lifestyle choices like drinking, smoking, lack of water, diet, that type of thing. So I'm like, all right, if I'm starting to work on the internal stuff, then that's just going to help the external topical stuff work even better. Okay, so here we are. This is kind of the big view here. That's Pikes Peak straight in front of us. Let me see if I can zoom you in. There it is. So that's one of the 14ers, or mountains that are over 14,000 feet here in Colorado, and it's the one that's furthest south. And you can drive all the way to the tippy top of that. There's a little observation deck up there and a whole bunch of cool stuff. I will take you up there someday. I did it for my skincare vlog channel. It was one of my very first skincare videos. But I don't think I've taken you up there yet on this channel. So I'll bring you up there someday. They do allow dogs on leash, so at least they used to. They might have changed that, because I know they redid the whole observation area up there, and like the visitor center that was on top, they've completely rebuilt it. So they may have changed their policies, because before, it was from like the 60s, I think, or something, and it was kind of just like, no holds barred. Let your dogs run around, come up here, get a pretzel. They had like snacks and stuff up there. Come up here, get a pretzel, hang out, walk around, look at the views, and that's that. And now it's like more official, and they put a lot more money into it. And so they might have changed their policies. You okay? You're walking sideways there for a second. So yeah, just being more consistent with my skincare routine. And one of the things that I've really been wanting to get, I may have mentioned this in a previous vlog, I don't know, but it's from a brand called Medicube. It's a Korean brand, and they're known for their super innovative skincare and skincare tools specifically. And so they have like all these different devices that you can get, and one's supposed to help tone your like skin muscles, so like make your jawline look tighter, kind of bring that chin up a little bit, and help with frown lines and crow's feet and your 11s, those lines in between your eyes, and forehead wrinkles. So they had a device for that. They had another one that was called the Booster, which was supposed to help enhance the penetration of your skincare, so it goes in deeper and is more impactful. And then they had another one called the Air Shot, which is supposed to use electricity to mimic microneedling. So it uses these electrical charges that essentially puncture microscopic, teeny tiny little holes in your skin, and that's supposed to help with plumping of the skin and collagen regeneration, and it's supposed to help with skin texture. So if you have like rough skin or textured skin, it's supposed to help smooth as well. So we're coming up on the super steep part, but it looks like the sun has been hitting this side a lot more, so I'm feeling good. As long as the mud doesn't cause me to slip and slide, this seems fine. So they had all these different devices. I think they had four different devices. Well, I had the intention of buying all four of those, which would have been around like $1,200. I was like, that'll be my like big skincare investment for the year, is I'll get these tools and I'll start trying them out, because I've been curious for such a long time, and this brand is like renowned for their advancements in skincare tools. And so right at the end of February, or end of January, February, they launched what they call their Age R Pro device, which is essentially all four of those things, or four different devices, all in one. So you just select which mode. Do you want the air shot? Do you want the booster? Do you want the microcurrent, EMS? Which one do you want? And so it's all in one now. You just cycle through the different modes. And the price of that, their introductory price when they launched it was $220 off. So it wasn't quite half off. So I think it's a $500 device, and I got it for $280, I think, which is definitely an investment, but that in comparison to what I was planning on spending on 4 separate devices is a much better deal. And it's not four devices sitting on your bathroom counter. It's just the one. Apollo, let me let you off because let's get to the bottom. I want to let him off because he's pulling, and he's pulling me forward, which is scary because this is the steepest part of the whole hike. But I don't want to let him off and then someone comes down the opposite way and I can't scramble to catch him. So I'm gonna wait till we get past this. So anyway, I ordered that device on that sale. I don't think they're having that sale anymore, but it really does have, I've only been using it for a week now, and it really does already exhibit some benefits. They say it takes at least a month for certain modes, like the collagen boosting one and some of that, the texture one. That takes a lot longer to see significant improvement. But I've already been noticing that my jawline from the EMS one just looks a little bit more tighter, like it's a little bit more defined, especially like, you know, the crook of your jaw, like right below your ears. Like I can see that on my face a little bit more, and my cheeks look a little bit more defined and kind of plumped up ever so slightly. We're not talking like drastic improvements by any means. And whoa, you're getting tied up in trees. And my skincare, like I feel like my skin's a lot more hydrated throughout the day, which is awesome. So it seems to be working. But the one thing that I found to be really surprisingly beneficial, there's Pikes Peak again from a different angle, is they suggest when you're using the EMS, which it feels like someone is shocking your skin. I had a device before called the Foreo Bear, and that was a microcurrent device. And this new one does have microcurrent, but the EMS is a more intense kind of version than that. And so the EMS really makes your muscles contract and twitch. Like when I have it going underneath my jawline, my mouth will kind of do a little frowny, like it goes, and you can see it, you know, contracting the muscles there. And then when I bring it on my forehead, my eyebrows raise when it's going on. But in their demo, they suggest you bring it all the way down and do your clavicle or like kind of shouldery area. Like you pretty much bring it all the way down to your shoulder. So I put some of the gel on because you need a conductivity gel because it's electricity. So it's almost like, it almost looks like ultrasound gel, but it's meant for your face. And so I put that on my shoulder that's been acting up, and I could feel it. It's not as intense as on your face because I think, you know, your skin and your muscle density and stuff on your shoulders is probably a lot thicker. But you feel a little something when you bring it down kind of to your clavicle, and it's supposed to help tighten up that area and make your neck, you know, look more firm. And it really helped with the pain and the soreness that I've been having. Like it almost went away just with the first time I brought it down to like near my shoulder area. Like the pain was completely gone. I didn't do stretches after that because that was at night. So I didn't test to see if like the popping and stuff was still there. I would assume it would be because this is just meant for like skincare. It's not meant to like be a medical device or a therapeutic device whatsoever, but it did help. Like the soreness was gone. I ended up diamond painting for a little bit the first night I did that, And usually, you know, previously with my shoulder being wonky, diamond painting with my shoulder just kind of floating up in the air, my elbow, I'd get sore a lot faster than I used to, and that was not the issue. That wasn't a concern after doing the EMS. So I almost think it might act kind of like a TENS. If you're familiar with TENS devices, they're those devices. Sometimes you'll see them at like the mall, or I've seen them when I've gone to career fairs or industry events for work. There'll be a little station where they've got a bunch of TENS devices set up. And essentially they put these two little electrodes on an area that you might be sore. Let's say it's your lower back or your knees or your, you know, something like that. Ooh, this is extra slick. Let me let you off. I don't want to fall down this and you're pulling me forward, which is okay. That's better than me pulling you along, but I don't want to fall. Go on. Let's go. Go, go, go. So it acts very similarly from what I have experienced to a TENS device, which are medical therapeutic devices. This does not claim to be such, and it isn't, but the theory and kind of how it works is essentially the same. The nice thing is, though, you don't have to have the sticky electrodes stuck to you, and you don't have to have all that stuff. It's all just in a handheld. It looks like a wand. If I can remember, editing Anthony, put a picture of the Medicube AJAR device on the screen so you can see what it looks like. It looks like just a wand that you run over your face and your body. But yeah, it definitely seemed to help. So just that alone, I'm like, this is cool. It's got a little extra benefit, I guess. So I probably won't be doing that constantly. I've only done it twice since I got the device. But yeah, seems to help soothe that soreness a little bit. But yeah, so that's kind of, hey. Hold on, he's ready to be a wild boy, so let me play with him for a minute. Okay. Sorry, he had a little spurt of energy. We had to get out. He was chewing on a pine cone and trying to play keep away with it, which means let's play. You ready? Come here. Come here. You ready? Go. Go, go, go. Go get it. It's like, it's too deep over there, Dad. Come here. Hi, cutie. Hi, cutie boy. Go, go, go. So yeah, that's skincare updates. I got a fancy new device, and seems to be working. And it's only as good as how often you're willing to use it, so I'm trying to create a really good routine. The nice thing is they have an app that you can connect it to, and the app, not only can you use it almost like a remote control and adjust the settings, which I don't know why you'd need to do that because the settings are all on the device. So all you have to do is, with the hand that you're holding it with, just press the buttons, but you can adjust it on the cell phone too, which seems a little cumbersome, but they have that. And then it also has all the tutorial videos on it. So you just hit play and it kind of walks you through as you're using the device how to do the things, which is kind of cool. And then it also develops a routine and a schedule for you throughout the week, depending, well, there's a default, just like this is the standard suggestion for, you know, basic care. But if you go in, you can basically complete a survey and say, okay, well, I want to deal with wrinkles or pores, or I'm trying to tackle, you know, this, and this, and then it'll suggest a routine based off of, you know, what you've entered in. So I just did the basic, you know, generic routine for now, just so I can get a hang of using the tool. But it also tracks, once you connect the device to it, it tracks what you've done. So it knows, like, okay, you did 1 minute of the EMS and 1 minute of the booster today, or 5 minutes of this and 4 minutes of that. So it tracks it all. That way you can see what your trends are, how frequently you've been using it, how long you go for. Each session is supposed to be 5 minutes is the recommended, but some days it wants you doing all 4 modes in one day. So that's an extra 20 minutes of rubbing this wand over your face in front of the mirror. So sometimes, I could see this being a little too time consuming, especially if you don't invest that much time in your skincare routine in general. So I could see this being way too much for a lot of people. And sometimes it's even too much for me. Like the day that it had me do all 4, I did like 2 minutes of each instead of the 5. I was like, come on, let's go. But the days that it has me doing 2 or 3, I'll do like 1 in the morning and 2 at night, or 1 in the morning, 1 at night, or, just break it up so it's not so time consuming in one big chunk. Come here. Good boy. Easy. Good boy. Thank you. Oh my God. You're going to get extra treats. So yeah, the app will it connects so it knows how long you actually did it and kind of keeps track of all that, which is helpful. It's a little too involved in that regard for me, but what it did help me do is learn how to do the movements and like where to put it on my face and and actually use the device properly. So it was very helpful for that. So I did that for the first, I've been doing that for the first week just to get it down, but then, hold on. Oh, this is an awkward sitch. Okay, we gotta take this super slow. Oh my gosh. Apollo, come here. I'm gonna let you off again because I can't have you pulling me. This is too steep. Let's go. Sorry everyone, I'm moving really slow. Come on, buddy, come on. This is icy dicey. Come on, let's go, buddy. Oh, this is icy. Oy. I'm just walking in the deep snow because I'm scared of falling and biffing it. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, let's go. Ooh, these downhills really get to your knees. So yeah, I just kind of used it as the tutorial to kind of get a hang of it. So now I probably won't use the app because the device works just fine without the app. It just, you're not tracking it when you're not using the app, which I don't really care about. I kind of got the routine down. It's pretty simple. It's like you only use the air shot. That's the most intense one, the one that pokes the little holes in your face, essentially. That one they only suggest using twice a week. And so that's pretty easy. And the other ones just say 2 to 3 times a week. So essentially, I just do those on the other days, and then I have a day or 2 off depending on what I've decided to do. So it's pretty intuitive from the device, but once you try to throw in the app and you're really trying to get intensive about tracking and seeing your trends and all that stuff, it can get a little cumbersome to, have an eye on all that. Plus your actual, you still have to wash your face, and they suggest using a toner and then use one of their serums and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not a big subscriber in skincare synergy, meaning you only use one brand and they work best when you use them all together. I think that's all kind of marketing jargon to convince you to buy all of their things. Because it's like, okay, if you're telling me this moisturizer is less effective when I use it with a different toner, then you've sold me an incomplete product. Like, it should be able to stand on its own and be effective. If I had money for just one item, it should fulfill its job, So yeah, I still am doing cleanse, tone, serum, moisturize, sunscreen if it's in the AM. And I do my treatments too, like my exfoliation occasionally, and all of that stuff. So I also got a new serum. It's been super hot and trendy recently, this serum. It's from a brand called I think it's called VT, just the letters V and T, and it's called their Reedle shot, Reedle shot. And it's a serum that has Centella asiatica, which is very calming, and it's an anti-redness ingredient. But they also have put, I don't know if it's the Sika plant itself or if they're using sponge, but they use this material. I can't remember if it's the Sika, but a lot of companies use hydrolyzed sponge, like the plant, a sponge plant. And when you've seen like a loofah sponge, when it's dried, it's got these like, it's very fibrous, kind of prickly fibers that are really good for exfoliation. But if you break that down into like microscopic sizes and process it in a certain way, it turns into these super sharp little needles almost. Like think of them as like, yeah, like little barbs, This is barb. So it turns into these little microscopic barbs, and they put that in serums. And when you apply it and push it and massage it onto the skin, those barbs go into your skin and into your pores. And the purpose of that is similar to, once again, kind of a microneedling effect, almost very, not like a microneedle in concept, but not nearly as intense or as probably effective. It's a very mild version of that. But you massage all these spikes into your skin essentially, and they deliver the ingredients of the serum a lot more. They dissolve over time. They break down in your skin. And hold on, Apollo, easy baby, come here, easy. I always, anytime we come on this hike, we get somebody coming around come around the mountain here. But yeah, it's supposed to help deliver the effects of the serum, but it's also supposed to really help with like large pores, blackheads, because it kind of gets in there and breaks up excess sebum and stuff and helps it to release from the skin. It encourages skin turnover. It's almost like a combination of an extremely mild facial peel and an extremely mild microdermabrasion, or I'm sorry, microneedling. So it's kind of like an incredibly mild version of that. And they have different concentrations. So they have a 100, I think they have a 50. Oh, hold on. So they have they do it like in these different increments. So there's one called 50. I don't know what the numbers are in relation to, but there's a 50, a 100, a 300, I think a 500, a 700, and then a 1000. And the 1000 is meant for like very sporadic spot treatment of like dark spots and hyperpigmentation and stuff like that. Whereas the other ones range from daily use to once a week, 2 to 3 times a week. It just depends on what your skin can handle or what you've worked yourself up to. Now, I've used a product, it's similar in concept a few years ago. I forget the brand name, but it was sold at Sephora and it was a Korean product. If I can remember that, I'll include a picture of the Riedel shot, the new one, and I'll include a picture of the old one. But the old one, I didn't mind, but it must have been a really low power. Like it must have been on the 50 side of things, because I didn't see a huge benefit from it. Maybe some slightly smoother skin, a little bit more of illumination or brightening, but nothing too major. And it was very expensive. I think it was like $60 or $70, because at the time it was like it's still very niche, but incredibly niche product style. And I bet you it was a lot more expensive back then to formulate with that type of technology, where it's slowly becoming more commonplace. There's another brand, sorry we're going down this rabbit hole, but it's an interest of mine. There is another brand called Choriatake, and I don't know how to spell it, but it is another Korean brand, and they're a medical kind of spa skincare. And I think they're the ones that invented this technology of jamming little spicules into your skin to help with regeneration and plumping and firmness and all of that stuff. And so they have a treatment in Korea called the Troy peel. And so it's an in-office treatment. You can't get the Troy, I don't think you can get the Troy peel stuff at home, but they sell other products. But the Troy peel, essentially, they mix the sponge spicules there while you're laying, on the spa, the treatment bed. They mix it with some solution so it becomes a liquid. And then the esthetician actually dabs a little bit on your forehead and it does a whole face massage, but they use a decent amount of pressure. Essentially, they're pressing those sponge needles into your skin or kind of forcing them in. And that is a very intensive peel, or more intensive than this at-home version of it. That one you can see some peeling of the skin and some redness. It's definitely more of a in-office treatment, whereas this is just a bottle of serum. So anyway, I haven't tried it yet because I wanted to do my first week of the new device and see how my skin was going to react to the device, which I haven't had any negative reactions, no sensitivity, no redness. The only thing that I notice is, like I said, the muscle contractions. And then with the air shot, the one that pokes the holes, it burns, well, it tingles, but it burns the little baby fuzz of your hair. So it can smell a little like burning hair when you're using it, because it's getting, well, I have facial hair, obviously, but it burns the peach fuzzies and stuff that come up. So once again, I don't think it's intended as a hair removal device. I don't think it works well enough for that, but you can smell it incinerating the little peach fuzzies on your face. Whether or not that's a selling point to you or not, I don't particularly care for it, but it's not that bad. But those are the only things, the muscle contractions and the smell of hair. It's like when you put your hair through like a flat iron or a curling iron, you get a little whiff of hot hair, and that's kind of what it smells like. But so I haven't used the Riedel shot yet, so I'm going to try that tonight. But there is the effect from that of it being, from what I've heard, itchy, like because you're jamming just a bunch of itty bitty microscopic cactus needles into your skin and into your pores. It can feel uncomfy from what I understand. And that first one that I used years ago from Sephora, kind of felt like that a little bit, but not super intense and not very long lasting. So I'm assuming that was a lower concentration of the little needles, whereas I ended up getting the 700 because I have a high tolerance for skincare stuff since I've been doing it for so long. And so usually when people recommend, oh, I'm at the 700 right now, but I would suggest starting with the 100, then move to the 3, the 5, and then the 7. That would be my recommendation. I usually just go with whatever, if it's an influencer or a skincare YouTube content creator that I've been following for a long time, I'll just go with whatever they're using, because for the most part, I've been watching these skincare YouTubers for 6 years now, and been following along with their routines and their suggestions and their journey as well. So I feel like I'm, from a used to it standpoint, I'm kind of on par with a lot of these content creators, because I've been doing a lot of the same things they've been doing since they started their channels, And so I typically just go for whatever they're currently using. And if it's too intense, it's too intense. I'll bump it down to the 5 or the 3. But I'm going to give that a shot tonight, so I'll let you know how that goes with cramming a bajillion little Centella asiatica or hydrolyzed sponge spikes into my face. But yeah, this one you're only supposed to use once a week. And so this will be my day off from my device day. I'll use this serum. Okay, hold on everyone. We've got another slippery incline. We just finished the balloon. Now we're coming back down the string. That went really fast. We're at 2 hours and 9 minutes. We've done 4.77 miles and we've burned 870 calories. We did good, buddy. 870 calories, that's a couple of items from the dim sum menu. I can't wait to show you. I can't wait. I hope that they have everything available because sometimes they're out of certain things. Obviously, it's usually the most popular things. So their wonton soup comes in this clay pot. It's fantastic. Sometimes they're sold out. And then they have these really tasty, Apollo? No, you don't need that. Really tasty dumplings. And they're oftentimes out of those too. So we'll have to see if they have their full menu or not. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, the Riedel shot. So yeah, this will be my off day. I'll use the Riedel shot and we'll see how it goes. I'll give you a status update on our next vlog if my skin burst into flames or all fell off. But it gets super good reviews. It's been raved and raved about since it came out. And I haven't been super in on the skincare game since I started my diamond painting channel. So I don't even know when this came out, but it still pops up on Instagram and YouTube a lot for people raving about this. So we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping, my goal is that it helps with the texture of my skin, gets rid of, you know, like if you were to take my skin and pull it straight, tight, you know, stretch it out, every pore's got a little bead of sebum and blackhead stuff in it. And it's not super noticeable until you get to like my chin and my cheeks and on my temples. So I'd love to just help to break that sebum and that, you know, clogged pore stuff up. Sebum's good for your skin. It acts as like the mortar holding the bricks of your skin cells together. So you don't want to be like stripping your skin just like bone dry of all oil and moisture and keratin and all of that stuff. Like, I'm not trying to burn the house down, but I'm just hoping it'll help to get my skin to turn over, because I think just with my genetics, I have oily skin. I guess not turn over, but just release. So my skin turns over, but it doesn't slough off, and the cycle doesn't complete as easily as some other people. So I just end up with a lot of dead skin and excess oil sitting on the surface of my skin that doesn't come off like it would with some other skin types. So that it just creates a bunch of blackheads and clogged pores and just gunk. I'm gunked up. So I'm hoping it helps with that, and I'm hoping it might help with just firmness and elasticity. I think I got into skincare early enough. You know, I started, I guess I was 31 when I started delving into skincare. And so I think that was early enough that I've been lucky to not have a ton of things crop up that I think happen with a lot of folks around my age, you know, now that I'm 37, yeah. You know, fingers crossed, knock on wood, I don't really deal with like, I don't have any like fine lines necessarily or wrinkles. I have a couple of forehead wrinkles, but they're very faint and they really only show up when I'm like emoting. But that's pretty much it. And I do have some 11s lines because, once again, smiling and emoting, but they tend to, they're very faint. So I think I'm lucky in that regard. But what I do know of at least my mom's side of my family is like skin elasticity and like general like firmness, you know, and that kind of plump looking feeling. I feel like that side of the family, the dermis, and your dermis does degrade over time, so it thins, and your lipid layers, like your fat layers and stuff, kind of thin. And I feel like with my family that that is a concern, you know. I'm not calling you out, Mom, or anything like that. You're beautiful. But I know, you know, at times I've talked to my mom about skincare stuff, and like I even talked to one of her friends that's in their 80s, I think, about skincare at one point. So it's just, you know, it's a common concern. Things start to droop and sag and get a little sallow, and I'd like to maintain for as long as I can with what I have available to me, keep that nice plump looking skin going. So, and I think I'm making some good strides in that with the not drinking and just drinking a lot more water. Water is huge for maintaining hydration levels in the skin. And hopefully with some of this new stuff that I'm trying out, I might see some success. So anyway, that was a lot of skincare talk, but it's something that I'm, you know, obviously is an interest of mine. So I thought I'd share. We just hit 5 miles. That was good, buddy. That was really good. Let's make sure. So we're at 2 hours and 15 minutes. Okay, so we should be able to make it to the car before I need to reapply sunscreen. You gonna go pee again? A little pee body? No? You just checking things out? But yeah, that's kind of skincare stuff. And I'll keep you posted on how things are going with all those different tools and products and stuff, if that's something that you're interested in looking into. And I guess we'll wrap it up with diamond painting stuff. I don't have a ton. I have, as far as my whips, I currently have Summer by Alphonse Mucha, Diamond Painting Shop. No progress on that since the last time I've given you a status update. Then I have Astronomer by Miles Pinkney. And that one is, I'd say, 60% done. I'm working, I worked my way to the middle, flipped it around, started on the opposite side, and I just started on the second row coming up the other side. So I'm making some good progress there. I need to take a progress photo of that one here in the next couple of days and put that up on Instagram. But that's going really well. That was part of the Astronomer paint along that Mia was holding in January and February. So of course I missed the deadline for finishing it, but I think there's still a lot of people working on it. It's a big old kit with a decent amount of confetti, so it's just, you know, more of a project, which is fine. And then I have, what's my other one? Oh, I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, because I think I filmed a vlog where I talked about it, but then I ended up not posting that vlog. I wanted to, maybe I have talked about this. There should be maybe someone who likes listening to my vlogs and wants to take this on can keep a count of like how many times I say, I think I've already talked about this, because I feel like I say it so much, but that's just the nature of doing a lot of walking and talking, is, you know, same topics come up a lot. I hope you don't mind. But I finished my mystery kit from Ivy Dollamore and Diamond Art Club a couple of weeks ago, which was a lot of fun. So once that was done, I was like, okay, so now I'm left with, oh, and I have Mousse Ne Lob Mousse, my cross-stitch conversion, no progress on that. So I'm like, okay, I have my cross-stitch conversion, which is fairly kind of like muted tones, kind of natural looking. Then Summer with Alphonse Mucha, a lot of neutral muted tones. And then Astronomer by Miles Pinkney is not muted or neutral tones, but the color palette does have a lot of colors in it. Like I think there's like 65, 66 colors in that. But there's not like bright pinks and bright blues and stuff. It's its own, you know, it's a different color palette. So essentially I was looking for something that had some brighter colors, maybe some sky blues and some brighter yellows. And I also wanted to play around with some specialty drills, because none of my other projects right now have any. Well, no, that's not true. Astronomer has some sparklers for squares, but not many. I didn't enhance that one too much. But something that had some blend of sparkler, or, you know, good blend of enhancement drills. And I wanted it to be a round because, Summer from Alphonse Mucha is round, but I was like, I want like a colorful round. I don't know, I'm just in this mood where I just wanted something a little bit more bright and maybe slightly poppy and a little bit more fun. But I was also not willing to kit up anything new because I have Jaded Jamboree and then Summer with the Masters coming up. I was like, I'm gonna be kitting up so many old Masters Jaded Gem Shop kits in the next few months. I don't need to pick anything brand new. So just pick from what you have kitted up. So I had Inner Garden, Stella, and Harbor Lights. And then I think that's it. Inner Garden, Stella, Harbor Lights, Muted Sound. So those were my 4. I almost went with Muted Sound, but I wasn't in the mood to look at the charting for that and make my DP with Sparklers purchase, but I might do that soon because I do want to get that kit going. So that might be a project for tomorrow. But anyway, so really my choices were because I wanted a round kit. So that left me with the only kit that I have kitted up that's round is Harbor Lights by Dominic Davidson in Diamond Painting Shop. It's like a 96 by 123 centimeter, like giant canvas. And I was like, you know what? Let's do it. So I've grabbed that bad boy and started working on that. And I just started on the second row going up. So I'm working on it sideways, working from left to right. And so I just finished my first row. I started on my second one last night a little bit. And I love it. I love it so much. It's acrylic drills, which aren't necessarily a problem for me. And in fact, especially Diamond Painting Shop's acrylic drills are really nice quality. And the ABs and the crystals are stunning. So it's got like, I think it has like 4 ABs and like 5 crystals or something crazy like that. And it's just beautiful. And I love the colors. They're all pretty bright. And a lot of like primary blues and like oranges and some like gold yellows. It's just such a good blend. It keeps my interest, and I'm having a lot of fun. There's big old chunks of color blocking because it's such a big image. You get, because the image is so big, you get bigger chunks of the same color because it's not trying to cram more detail into a smaller area. So you get these good sections of color blocking, and then you hit a bunch of line blocking, which I don't love, but I don't hate. Vertical line blocking is not my favorite because I don't know how to diamond paint vertically. I can only single place up and down, so it takes a minute. Hold on. So yeah, I ended up I end up moving really slow on certain sections because there's just a lot of vertical line blocking. Now, someone did suggest on Mia's live last week, I think it might have been Francesca. She was like, why don't you just turn the canvas the other way? Well, she didn't say it like that, but let me try that again. Sorry, Francesca. She said, why don't you just turn the canvas the other way? But yes, absolutely, I could flip the canvas sideways so I could do the line blocking horizontally, but there's so many different colors of the line blocking that I'd have to be going churn and churn and churn and churn because some colors are horizontal line blocking, and so I'd be going back and forth. And that canvas is so big and unwieldy that like churning it just sounds like a whole step within itself, because I roll it out, and then to hold the plastic cover back, I set my drill container art dot things on top of the plastic cover to hold it down while I'm diamond painting. And so I'd have to like completely just move it around, and I'd have to change like where my hand placement is, and probably incorporate some release paper so my hand isn't getting sticky on areas. So I just keep it in one direction, and if it comes time to do vertical line blocking, I just do single placing all the way up. But there's a lot of it in this kit because there's a lot of reflection in the water, and it's all done in vertical and horizontal line blocking. So it's time consuming in those areas, but then it goes really fast when I get to some color blocking. So I'm loving it. I keep wanting to switch to another kit. I'm like, let me do some astronomer today. Let me do some summer today. And I'm like, but I'm really liking Harbor Lights. And I had never thought of myself as a big like Dominic Davidson kind of landscape, Chuck Penson kind of person. I've never really considered myself that kind of person. Like the farthest I'll get into landscapes is like some Abraham Hunters, but I've been finding that I've been drawn to them a little bit more recently. I really like the Mountain Landscape from Eau Claire Studio. Someone did correct me on that. That'll be in an upcoming responding to your comments video. But Eau Claire Studio is one that's done a couple landscapes that I really like now. And so yeah, I think I might be getting more into certain landscapes. I almost just went, because I've been having such a good time with Harbor Lights, and that was a kit that was sent to me for unboxing. So I don't even think it's one that I would necessarily, it wasn't my number one. When the shop owner, Rosa, she emailed me saying, hey, I'd like to send you a kit to do an unboxing of, what are your top, I think she said pick your top 4. And that one certainly wasn't my top pick. I think it was number 3 or 4. Because at the time I just didn't think I was super into those types of landscapes, but I thought it would be a good challenge project because of the size. But she ended up sending all 4 of my picks, which was amazing. And so, what was I going to say? Let's go ahead and turn around because we're almost done. I just took this little detour because we were back at the car. So yeah, it wasn't necessarily one of my top picks, but I'm glad that, come on, bud, what's the deal? I'm glad that she, I was lucky enough to receive that because I'm loving it. So, my brain, once I realize that I'm really liking something, I'm like, what are other things that are like this that I could buy? So I went on the diamond painting shop site and I found Toadstool Cottage, which is another big old landscape. Rachel Ray has a finish and review of that one, and it looks like a picture. It's like photorealistic in the finish. It looks glorious, and I'd love to do that one. And that one has been upgraded to resin rounds, so I thought it'd be cool to do a comparison between the acrylic rounds, which you can still get from certain kits on Diamond Painting Shop site, I believe. Thank you. There's something over there that he was really interested in. So yeah, I was like, it'd be interesting to compare the acrylic rounds to the resin rounds. Now, I think she's completely transitioning to resin, but I'm just curious, like, what would the differences be, between her acrylic and resins? So I put Toadstool Cottage in my cart, and I was like, Anthony, it's another one that's like 96 by like 120 something. I'm like, Anthony, no, stop. You like, when will you, not only how do you think you're going to get this one done in any amount of time, but when do you think you're going to do a second massive kit like this? And that one looks a lot more confetti heavy. And even though it's beautiful, I don't know if I'd enjoy it as much because the color palette doesn't seem to be as varied. There's a ton of greenery in Toadstool Cottage, and I don't know if I'd be that engaged working with so much green. Not that I have a problem with green, but so much of one color for so long. So I don't know. I'm going to keep thinking about it. There's a couple other diamond painting shop kits on her site that are on my wish list. So maybe I'll do it. But the promise I made to myself is I'm not going to buy it or another canvas like it at that size until I finish Harbor Lights. Because even then, I have another giant one from a diamond painting shop called Peaceful Sunday Cottage British, I think is what it's called. And that one's the same size. So I'm like, maybe take a beat, but it's been a minute since I purchased from Diamond Painting Shop, and so I want to show Rosa some love, but I also need to acknowledge that I just have too many diamond paintings, and as much as I want to buy more and show some of the small shops some love, I'm like, you also need to respect your finances and respect practicality, at least try to. So yeah, I'm gonna hold off. And I didn't get anything from Diamond Art Club this week, even though that Christopher Lovell, I forget what it's called, the latest Christopher Lovell release, really piqued my interest. It's beautiful artwork, but I decided that it's probably not something that I'd love diamond painting, but I do like the art. And then there was another one, I forget, it's kind of a woman sitting kind of in a prayer position a little bit, but she's got like a plant in her hand, and there's like kind of plants kind of growing around her. I thought that was stunning, so beautiful. And it was, I believe it was a round, and I almost got that one just because I love the imagery. I don't know, it just felt very powerful. It looked like a powerful image to me. So I almost got that one, but that's the only one that I could think of that I was really into. And I like to buy my kits in twos because then I get free shipping and I can use my points or use a coupon. So if there's only one that I want, then I'll usually let it ride and see what comes out in the next week or so, and hopefully that first one's still in stock, and then I can, double up. But yeah, nothing from Diamond Art Club this week. There's some cool images from Jade that I saw, but I'm just gonna wait till my stuff for Jaded Jamboree comes in, because that's gonna be 5 or 6 kits. Forget how many I got. And of course, I already have, 78 kits. Now it's probably around 85 or something with recent shopping, 85 or 90. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. And unless, I say that and then I'm like, so Eau Claire Studio came out with some stuff, and so did Ivy Dillamore and You May Art, so I'm gonna have to get all those. Come on, let's go. So yeah, I'm gonna take a break as best I can. I'll just say that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, I've been really enjoying Harbor Lights. It's a lot of fun. I haven't even posted I haven't even posted on Instagram that I've been working on that kit or any sort of updates, because I've been working on it typically at night, and when I'm done diamond painting, I'm just ready for bed. So I just roll it up and store it, because taking a picture of that, I'm gonna have to break down the table, then grab it back out, then lay it on the floor, and then take a picture, because it's just so big. It doesn't fit on my table in any sort of normal way. So I'd have to lay it out on the floor. So I haven't had the wherewithal to do that, but I need to. But yeah, that's pretty much everything for diamond painting updates. I still need to connect with Jade and figure when we're gonna do this lead up to the Jaded Jamboree. It's probably gonna have to be this coming week, if not the following, because then the event actually starts. And we were tossing around ideas for when we'll be going live every week on our respective channels. We were throwing around the Friday in the afternoon, but we haven't confirmed that. So I'll keep you posted. Hopefully I'll know sooner than later, but as soon as I do, I'll let you know. I'm not trying to keep anything from you. It's just we haven't really decided yet. And just both have our own life stuff going. So as soon as we can nail that down, I'll let you know. No updates on Summer with the Masters. I'll keep you posted once more details are there and we actually do an announcement video. But that's really everything. Yeah, it's been a really good week. Kind of crazy. But good overall. And Apollo's doing good, right? Right, buddy? Sir, come here. Hi, love. Are you tired? You look sleepy. You look over. Oh, you like the scratches today? Oh my gosh. Oh my word. Does that feel good? Oh, give me that smile. Give me that smile. Oh, he's so cute. You're so cute. But anyway, that's it for this hike. I'm just gonna say goodbye to you now because I'll probably just throw in some clips of the dim sum place. Well, there's only 3 cars here now. We could do probably a whole nother loop and not see anybody. I'll take pictures and throw in clips of the dim sum stuff, so stay tuned for that. Otherwise, thanks so much for checking this video out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this content with friends, family members, anyone that you think might take some value out of it. Happy placing. We'll see you next time. Bye, 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 bye. Bye. Come say bye. Apollo, come say bye. Hop up. Ooh, come on, give me another one. Hop up. Are you tired? Okay, is that all I'm getting? Okay. Your little legs are sore. All right, bye. Okay, so here we are at Yellow Mountain Tea House. So they've got all these different teas. You select the one that you're interested in, bring it to the table, and then they'll do the tea service with it depending on what style of tea it is. And there's a whole nother room on the other side with more tea, but this is just a little peek. They've got all sorts of tea sets and blooming teas, all sorts of stuff. So anyway, let's pick one and get back to the table. Yeah.
Very busy day. But over the weekends, always a busy like
Yeah. I think I came one time on like a Tuesday or Wednesday and it was
it's
nice.
better.
Yeah. But
yeah, always a welcome come during the week.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
you can also like chill out after work and get yourself ready for the next day. You know.
Yeah. It's very relaxing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Because this one is rolled up, we're gonna let it steep for
Okay.
like 1 minute.
Okay,
So
perfect.
you strain it out.
Okay, thank you. Awesome. Cool. Thank you. Okay, so I just had my jasmine tea made. So there's the teapot, and then there's the cup, and then this is an all-natural sweetener. It's almost like stevia leaves, but I don't think it is, but it has like a mild sweet taste. And so you just pop that into your tea for some sweetness instead of sugar. And yeah, I might do I can just tell you now. So the person that was preparing the tea mentioned that they do classes here and suggested that maybe I come back and take a course. And once you complete their course, you get a little certificate, and then you can brew your own tea. So you don't have to wait for someone to come and do the tea service for you. You just do it yourself. So I might look into that. But this might be my last talking clip. I might just take photos of the food that comes. But yeah, this is Yellow Mountain Tea House. There's a whole other section down there. And then here's the main area. But yeah, it's awesome. Okay, bye. it's Anthony, Single and Placing. I have no idea when this little clip will get added to a future vlog or something, but taking Apollo for a little potty walk in the evening, and hopefully you can see well enough, but I've got this interesting mix of rain and snow right now, and I always find this weather to be particularly beautiful. I love the way that Table Mountain looks with the ominous clouds and stuff. And yeah. Anyway, I just really like this weather. Thought I'd share. First time kind of having this kind of sleety style stuff going on here in Golden this year, and I think it's just really pretty. So anyway, back to whatever I'm putting this on. Bye.